We've talked about the curse involving Marcus Allen, but his old backfield mate, Bo Jackson, has a curse of his own and is said to haunt the Cincinnati Bengals. There may not be a greater what-if story than that of Bo Jackson. Jackson is considered among the greatest athletes of all time, known for his freakish combination of size, speed, and strength. Bo was famous for playing both pro baseball and pro football at the same time. He played for 4 years with the Raiders, sharing a backfield with Hall of Famer Marcus Allen, and while he definitely showcased his talent and gave us some highlights for the ages, his career was unfortunately cut short before his true potential could be reached. So it's the 1990 playoffs, divisional round, Bengals at Raiders. Bo Jackson is already popping off, including a 34-yard run in the third quarter that would prove to be his last down in the NFL. The tackle led to a hip injury that would ultimately deteriorate into a career ender. Despite the devastating loss, the Raiders would still defeat the Bengals, although they themselves came up short against the Bills. So in a way, the Bengals had robbed the world of one of the most electric athletes to not only play football, but any sport, something that they couldn't just get away with. God had created the perfect athlete. The Bengals took him away, and for that, he punished them. Following that game in January of 1991, Cincy endured a harsh postseason drought, as the team wouldn't even make it back into the playoffs until 2005. But even that game is infamous as well. Wildcard Steelers. Led by Pro Bowl quarterback Carson Palmer, the Bengals looked poised to handle their divisional rival at home, but on his first throw of the game, which was a 66-yard bomb, Palmer was hit low and tore his ACL. In spite of that deflating setback, Bengals actually led at halftime, but as would be the case so often, they just couldn't fend off the Steelers for that long, and they roared back with 24 unanswered points to pull off the upset. To make it even worse, that year, Pittsburgh would go on to win the Super Bowl. The Bengals had at least finally made it back to the playoffs, and they would continue to do so under the quarterbacking of Andy Dalton, who infamously could never win in the playoffs, going 0-4. But it's actually the fifth from this era where Dalton did not play due to injury that is the most remembered. Who could forget the choke job in 2015, once again against the Steelers? The Steelers got out to a 15-point lead, but A.J. McCarron and the Bengals scored 16 unanswered in the fourth to take the lead. In fact, a win looked all but guaranteed, but then the Steelers got the ball back from a fumble and were of course bailed out by the infamous perfect hit on Antonio Brown, which was called for unnecessary roughness, as well as a separate penalty from Pac-Man Jones right after that gave the Steelers 30 free yards, new life, and the chance to kick the game-winning field goal, which they did. The curse of Bo Jackson seemed stronger than ever and really liked to toy with the Bengals. Let's fast forward to the next era and current era of Bengals football. It's 2021. The Bengals have a stud young quarterback in Joe Burrow and make it back to the playoffs. And who should they have to play round one? Not the Steelers, but none other than the Las Vegas Raiders. And guess what? They won. This ended a 31-year playoff win drought, the longest in the NFL, and the fact that it was against the Raiders, the team that cursed them, made it all the more special. And yes, this is the year that the Bengals made it all the way to the Super Bowl, but did ultimately lose against the Rams. So was the curse broken, or did it still win in the end? It seems evident that the curse is at least slowly losing its grip. It's not wise to underestimate a curse, but I think by defeating the Raiders, the Bengals have dealt a significant blow to its power. For it to truly be broken, I think a Super Bowl win would be required, something I think Burrow and company are capable of. For now though, I'm going to consider it an easy one to break. It ran rampant for over 30 years, but it's a curse with waning effect.